In this episode, we look at the changing landscape of global trade with a special focus on the trade relationship of the United States of America to Mexico and China. Welcome to Where.Channel. In this channel, we deep dive into issues of significant importance from a geographical perspective. The trade dynamics between economic superpowers have been going through visible shifts. These shifts are primarily driven by the economic conflicts which are often intertwined with political and perceived military confrontations. For the first time in recent history, Mexico surpassed China as the largest exporter to the United States. By the way, China is still a dominant force in international trade because of its manufacturing capabilities and well-established economic machinery. Meanwhile, the United States, amid ongoing trade tensions with China, is seeking to bolster its trade ties with other regions, particularly Europe, India, and Southeast Asia. In the ever-evolving landscape of global economics, 2023 marked a significant shift in trade dynamics that had been stable for decades. Mexico beat China as the largest exporter to the United States, a trend that continued robustly into the first few months of 2024. This shift does not seem to be an isolated incident, but a part of a broader realignment in global trade patterns, reflecting deeper economic, political, and strategic changes. A combination of factors has contributed to the recent decline in Chinese imports into USA. Key among these is the implementation of new tariffs by the U.S. government, aimed at addressing the long-standing trade imbalance and concerns over intellectual property theft and cybersecurity issues. These tariffs have made Chinese goods more expensive and less competitive in the U.S. market, prompting American businesses to seek alternative sources. As a result, countries like Mexico, Canada, Brazil, South Korea, India, Taiwan, and Vietnam have stepped in to fill the gap left by China's reduced presence. This shift has also led to a significant narrowing of the U.S. trade deficit with China, as imports from China dropped by 20% this year. Interestingly, as U.S. imports from China have declined, other regions have seen a surge in trade with China. The ASEAN countries and the European Union have become major importers of Chinese goods, with the U.S. now trailing behind. This shift indicates China's strategic pivot towards other markets in response to the trade challenges with the U.S. For the first time in decades, China became the largest trading partner with India. The trade landscape is further complicated by the intricate web of global supply chains, where goods assembled in one country often contain components sourced from another. The data analyzed by the analysts have found that the significant decoupling has happened in regards to the trade relation between U.S. and China. This has directly benefited the large developing countries, either on the border with the U.S., Mexico, or far from the U.S. like Vietnam, Taiwan, and India, which have increasing trade ties with China. It demonstrates that the countries who are filling these gaps are in fact already deeply engaged in supply chains with China. Mexico is one of those countries. It is also the largest exporter to the USA currently. The nearshoring phenomenon has been on the rise in Mexico as a lot of global manufacturers are setting factories in Mexico to sell the goods and products in its northerly neighbor USA. Although finished products might be coming from Mexico, many raw materials and parts are still sourced from China. In 2023, Mexico imported a total of $81.5 billion worth of goods from China. That is almost double of pre-pandemic level exports. In 2019, total export from China to Mexico was only $46.5 billion. A notable development in this context is the increasing container shipping trade route from China to Mexico. According to a global navigation data firm, Zenita, global container traffic data demonstrated a sharp rise in shipments from China to Mexico in recent times. It grew by nearly 60% in January compared to the same month of last year. The Mexico and China shipping route is currently one of the fastest-growing trade routes globally. This surge suggests that China may be using Mexico as a conduit to circumvent U.S. tariffs and restrictions, highlighting the adaptive strategies employed in global trade. The trade interrelationships between the global economic powers are in a state of flux. These dynamics are influenced by economic policies, strategic interests, and geopolitical considerations. As these nations navigate the complexities of trade agreements and policies, their interactions will continue to shape the global economic landscape, presenting both challenges and opportunities for growth and collaboration. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Please subscribe to this channel for the stories that matter to you with a focus on Where.